This is the Daily Hoosier Daddy on Octane Infinity TV, special Sunday edition. We have now completed 17 grueling weeks in the Hoosier Daddy JV Fantasy Basketball League. With that in mind, let's see how our teams are now. First matchup I'll address is my own. It was Ringleader versus Tigers. I led 8-1 going into Sunday. I feared losing my advantages in threes and assists, so I had 8 guys in my lineup today after adding Will Bynum for Sunday. Now, for the three-pointers, I was able to get 2 triples from Ray Allen. No one else gave me any except Tim Duncan, where I least expected. He took 2 in the last 6 seconds again in the Detroit game. He made the first, but missed the buzzer beater. I lose in three-pointers, but assists, Russell Westbrook was my savior. In a 2-point win at Minnesota, he dropped 14 dimes as part of the triple-double he got against the Timberwolves. That category came down to the Hawks game at Golden State. With a slight lead in assists, I just had Josh Smith, while Bill had point guard Mike Bibby in that game. Bibby only gave Ringleader 5 assists, while I got 7 from Jay Smooth. Before I report the final score here, I want to sing the praises of Amari Stoudemire. I know I gave up on the guy after I acquired him for a heavy dollar amount in the draft, but after I dealt him to Bill, I was just kind of wondering. But wonder no more. This guy is actually a legit player. He was big for Ringleader in scoring and rebounding for. He scored and rebounded the most for Bill's team this week. And while I'm talking bigs, Emeka Okafor was great too, with 10 blocks for the week. So good for Ringleader keeping that with those guys keeping the contest pretty competitive. But anytime you want to talk about bigs, you can't leave out my guy, D12, Dwight Howard. You can't leave him out of the conversation. But my MVP this week, was the silky smooth shooting Ray Allen. That's right, Jesus Shuttlesworth himself. Allen was double figures for the week for 4 categories, a remarkable 4 categories, and turnovers wasn't even one of them. So great week for me. I defeat Bill 7-2. Jobbers versus Taco Del Myra Mar. Adam led Chris 8-1, and once again Chris sat Monte Ellis. With that evident, it appeared Adam decided to sit his low shooting percentage guys and Jeff Green and Vince Carter. Was that really the strategy? And if so, was it a strategy that worked? Well, here's where we end in field goals. Chris 479, Adam 479. Sisters have been kissed here. We have a tie. Chris protects himself from losing another category. For the last few nights, we knew Adam pretty much had this matchup locked up, but it was just a matter of how hard Chris was going to make him work. Chris did get that tie, but he also got wins in turnovers, and in the steals category, he wins by 2. Moral victory, perhaps? Adam sweeps the season series, defeating Chris 6-2. Hoop Kings versus Cobra Kai Never Dies. Renee led Evil Mike 6-3. He had 11 eligible players today and opted to sit 2 before the final game of the night. So Darren Williams and Brandon Roy did not play because Hoop Kings pretty much had this series wrapped up. Renee was 16-10 in the assist category. Evil Mike was just hell-bent on defeating him there. Steve Nash poured in 17 assists today, shutting that door today early. It's heartbreaking, I'm sure, to have finally lost in a head-to-head in 2 months, but here's 2 more things that hurt Cobra Kai even more. Let's look first at rebounds. 52 boards for Cobra Kai forces Evil Mike to come up just 1 short. And second, the shooting was competitive, but Hoop Kings win field goals by just 0.1%. Victory's got to be pretty sweet for Renee this week. He defeats Evil Mike 6-3, and the Cobra Kai finally lose their first head-to-head matchup in 9 weeks. So congratulations go out to Renee. 7 Apples versus Kinjo Bounty Hunter. Mike led Edwin 6-3, and Sunday took some careful planning on the behalf of both GMs, with both percentage categories in reach Edwin kept 5 players in action while benching Anthony Morrow and Joe Johnson. Mike kept 4 guys and benched Brooke Lopez and Ben Wallace. Let's look first in the free throw category. 86% on Sunday to just 60 for Mike. So Edwin got that win. In field goals, 7 Apples shot 36% on Sunday. So that left Kinjo Bounty Hunter with the chance. Edwin had 48% from his guys, but ultimately comes up short, losing field goals by just 2%. I enjoyed following this series between the 7th and 8th place teams. Mike will stay ahead of Edwin. He defeats him 5-4 for the second time this year. Ball Don't Lie versus That's What She Said. Jonas led Scott 5-4, and this series went down to the last game. That last game being Utah at Portland. Very disappointing game for Blazer fans. So hopefully get a chance to talk more about that later. But Jonas's team was already done for the day before that game. But Scott was still down 5-4 and had Paul Millsap remaining in action. All he had to do was get 4 steals to keep BDL from losing. Well, in the first half, Millsap did get 2 steals, so that just left 2 more to get in the second half. He couldn't get it in the third and fourth quarters, but that game went to overtime. Couldn't get it in the extra session either. And really, those steals are the difference in this matchup and who won this week. That's What She Said had a roster loaded with scoring threats, and that was led by Dirk Nowitzki and the 103 points he scored. The team also dominated on the boards as well and won convincingly at the foul line. Scott won the first matchup between these two in week 8, 6-3, but this time around it's Jonas defeating Scott 5-4. Let's look now at league leaders for week 17. That's What She Said led the league in both percentage categories, field goals and free throws. The Tigers led in rebounds with 45, tied with Jobbers for the league lead in block shots. Kinjo Bounty Hunter led the league with 49 three-pointers made, with 29 players in action this week. Cobra Kai Never Dies led the league in scoring. Hoop Kings dominated the league in assists. Good Mike edged out Evil Mike for the league lead in steals. And Taco Del Myra Mar had the fewest turnovers this week with 60. So this is how our standings look in Hoosier Daddy JV. Adam, the reigning league champion, has moved back to the top of the standings with an 85-64 record. Scott now drops to second at 84-66. Renee moves to third place with an 82-70 record, and Jonas drops to fourth at 80-68. Evil Mike and Billy B remain in 5th and 6th place. I have now made it in the playoff contention, taking a leap from 9th place to 7th. Good Mike drops to 8th place, and the commissioner falls behind in the playoff race, while lastly Chris becomes the first and hopefully only GM to lose 100 games this year. Now for the waiver wire on Sunday, I've dropped Will Bynum. Hardly did anything for me, and added Drew Gooden, who I hope the Clippers are playing on Monday. Ball Don't Lie has dropped Shane Battier. Scott has now added Lamar Odom. Edwin dropped Martell Webster and added Mike Dunleavy. Hoop Kings have dropped Nick Collison and Ramon Sessions. Renee has added Al Thornton and TJ Ford. Cobra Kai, lastly, has dropped Mike Conley and Francisco Garcia. Evil Mike has now added Craig Smith and Chris Duhan. Good luck with that one. Week 18, the head-to-head matchups go as follows. The Jobbers will face Ringleader. Ball Don't Lie versus Hoop Kings. That's What She Said faces Taco Del Myra Mar. Cobra Kai Never Dies faces the Kinjo Bounty Hunter. And 7 Apples will meet the Bomb Squad. There will be 5 games in the NBA on Monday. The only televised game will be an early evening affair on NBA TV with the Chicago Bulls visiting the Washington Wizards. But if you want more basketball, you can get your fix at the Hoop in Beaverton. Octane Infinity will have a doubleheader there starting at 8:30. If you want to catch Hacksaw, Big Trouble, and the rest of the team, they face Advantage NY and the credit union kids of First Tech following that. So that's all for this week on the Daily Hoosier Daddy here at the bomb shelter inside Octane Infinity TV studios. It's been a fun week. This has been Saigon John, the bomb from Vietnam, and boom goes the dynamite.